All right, today we're talking about a project that I actually had the pleasure of working on, and it's basically how Wingstop built a culture phenomenon from a viral video to a real life product. And here on Culture Theory, we dissect the most successful and sometimes the least successful social media campaigns on the internet and how they actually affect businesses. So, a little bit about Wingstop. They were a company founded in 1994 in Garland, Texas, and they are a chicken wing brand, fries, uh, boneless wings, tenders, all this sort of thing. A lot of you have probably heard of Wingstop. They are a QSR, a quick service restaurant. They have over 2,000 locations, mostly franchise, some are corporate owned, and they're known for their wide range of bold and craveable flavors. It says here, a lot of people love their lemon pepper. What's his name? Rick Ross owns a few, and he loves his lemon pepper. But Wingstop is a brand. I do want to mention that they have a great social presence already. They have had their moments in the past where they pop off and they really are shown to a wide audience. They are very culturally relevant, and they have found themselves at the front of culture multiple times. Early on, something I want to talk about is their Twitter. So they used to be really unhinged on their Twitter. I remember because of the way they were, it I don't know if someone got fired or something, but things had to change and we could no longer be like that at all. But there was this this Twitter thread. Where is it? Wingstop says HQ is in Dallas, so yeah. K says I'm 3 hours away. Be there soon. Breaded or naked? Breaded is great because of the boneless wings, but bone-in sounds like a better option. God, I need you in me. All you have to do is open your mouth. Like that is crazy. That is crazy for a brand to do. I kind of forgot about this, but for a brand to act that way is extraordinarily rare for good reason, because I'm sure this could damage the brand in a few ways. But hey, got them a lot of attention that set them up for success. They don't do this anymore. They're very sensitive about what goes out. Yes, they still do play in fun areas, like they do 420 stuff. They could get edgy, but for the most part, they don't go this far. I don't. This is absurd. But they are a brand known to play around a little bit. So the breakdown of this of their strategy when approaching this one. So as when we were listening to social, listening to the viewers, listening to the audience, the customers, what they were saying, it was evident that people absolutely loved Wingstop Ranch. Wingstop Ranch was one of the most beloved products. They had a homemade recipe, and people would comment all the time about they would want to bathe in it, they want to do things with it. I mean, you can imagine the sexual puns that would come from this white sauce. People would go pretty much crazy. So we knew there was a lot of room to play in this area. So this all started with I shouldn't say it started with, but a video about a ranch dispenser is what kind of triggered all of this, is what we're going to talk about today. But getting to the point where we decided to do something like a ranch dispenser, we tested a lot of things and we would get incrementally more extreme. It started with like maybe 10 cups of ranch, and then it would be like ranch in a large fountain cup that you would drink like Diet Coke in or something. And then it would go to like a pitcher, and then we kind of kept going up. So this idea of ranch dispenser came to my mind, and we wanted to time it perfectly to a cultural moment. So this video here is, it says, I can't remember the thought right now, it's not in front of my face, but it's about, I'm not going to the watch party unless there's a ranch dispenser. And that resonated with people very much so, because they got 50 million views. 50 million views on Instagram, which is absurd. It hit our core audience absolutely, and then a lot more people after that. 50 million views, absolutely unbelievable. The reason this hit so hard is a combination of things. It's that people did love our ranch. That was a factual thing that we knew, and that we knew that people like to make absurd jokes about it, get extreme with it. So we kind of strong feeling about putting it in something like a dispenser. Literally drove to Target to buy this dispenser, and just did this video because we had there was a party at an office, and they were watching the March Madness final, or one of the March Madness games, but we made it about the final. So this was posted on the day of the March Madness final. So it was the combination of the extreme ranch dispenser-ness of it. The food was a lot of food. And then it was also the March Madness final. A perfect storm. That is why it is so important to be in touch with culture and what is relevant. This would not have got 50 million views if it was a general video. I know that for sure because we've tried things in this world. Yeah, they can do good, but they don't do this well. This is tying two very, very, very strong things together and seeing them pop off. And this is what it can do. 50 million views. That in and of itself is great. Amazing, impeccable. This was an organic video. We did the translation as if it was to be a paid. So if we were to pay to get this into 50 million views, pay to get it there, and it would be around the world of $300,000, north of $300,000, if we were to do it with ad spend, and we did it for free. I mean, people were getting paid, but we did it for free in the sense of like it was free to press post, obviously. And that is absurd. I will say this a lot. It's profound, the power that we have with the social media. It is profound things that we can do. We can get in front of our customers like never before in history. You just have to approach it from a strategic standpoint. You have to be listening to the audience, listening to culture, and then do your absolute best to get in front of it. And it's not easy. It takes time to get there, of course. For every 50 million view video we get, we posted 20 that didn't do nearly that, 50 that didn't do nearly that. So it takes time, but once it hits extraordinarily hard. Now, over $300,000 in ad spend saved, basically, and not even just saved. It's actually better if an organic video gets those views because people are voluntarily watching it rather than an ad spend would force it down someone's throat, for example. Besides all the benefits that came with this one video, so as we're posting, we don't want to just see success and then keep moving on. So they keep trying. No. When we see something that's successful, we see something over-indexed by that much. What I mean over-indexed is that we have an average, a benchmark views, and anything that goes over that, we want to take a much closer look at to see why it did well. Why did this do well? And kind of dive deeper on that subject. So our benchmark at the time was 1 million views. Anything that popped off over that was considered a top performer. And this had 50 million views. So it was a very, very top performer. So we wanted to double click into it and really focus, make this its own content pillar. And since then, Wingstop has done just that, collecting over 80 million views on Instagram in totality with this Ranch Dispenser content. This type of Ranch Dispenser content organically has garnered probably 100 million views across all platforms. And that is based off figuring out, taking one successful thing and diving deeper into it. Obviously, it's successful, so we kept doing it to the point where they created a ranch cooler. That sounds absurd because it is. Now, the March Madness video was a sports moment, so they thought it would be make a Gatorade cooler type thing, but for ranch. So the extreme ranch idea, push it further. So make a ranch cooler, not being, at the time of recording this, not being sold yet, but there was an influencer play sent to a whole bunch of influencers to make videos about, and it is now a core product in the Wingstop cycle of content. They just created a series recently where it was like ranch cooler talk. People sit on the ranch cooler, talk about sports or just things, and they used this idea of this one success, and now they're getting as much as they can out of it, which is kind of the whole point of social. You want to test. Organically, of course, and I don't know if I like the word test, but try things out. And as they do well, you want to dive into them, double down into what works. And now, the goal is to raise that benchmark because, like, I've worked on businesses that the benchmark was, let's say, 50,000 views starting, and then in a year and a half, we want to raise that to 75,000 views by leaning into what's successful. Okay, we get this, and this were overperforming. These 10 were not. Let's double click into here, and doing more of this will raise that benchmark. We're going to get that benchmark up. And I think that is a great way to stay on top of culture. Because organic is very telling when it comes to how relevant you are, obviously, because it organically gets somewhere. You don't want to make content, we're getting farther away from following-based content. It is much more important to make interesting content because that's what people get served. We don't really get served stuff that we follow anymore. We get interesting stuff that we are usually interested in. So interest-based algorithm rather than following-based algorithm. That's what it is becoming, and that is what we have to realize as marketers, especially the digital marketers out there. So overall, they took this viral video and made something real. And it's such an interesting thing because a lot of companies, they make something and then have to try to market it. Well, social puts us in an interesting spot because now we can test things first and then bring them to life, which makes it much more proven before we even bring it to life, if that makes sense. Now we're going to make something and already know people want it. That's getting the audience first and giving them something. That is much more valuable. And maybe in this case, it's not being sold, but it is a tool being used to gain more attention, which has so much value in and of itself. So using social as like a tool to see what's relevant and what people want, because that'll make your time and effort to make products or make something or make content that much more valuable if you have proven facts behind it. All right, so the ranch cooler wasn't a genius play that they ended up figuring out. It is something they committed to once they saw it worked. And that is what I want to take from this. That is the lesson I want to pull out of this. Okay. Next episode, we're diving into Olipop and how they had a brilliant influencer marketing strategy and how it changed the outlook of their business as a whole. So tune into that one, but see you then.